We are continuing our study in the Gospel of Matthew, and we continue our study of a short parable of Jesus called the parable of the weeds or the parable of the darnel. And I will be reading in this reading from the Jerusalem Bible. Reading from verse 27. The owner's servants went to him and said, Sir, was it not good seed that you sowed in your field? If so, where does the darnel come from? Some enemy has done this. He answered, and the servant said, Do you want us to go and weed it out? But he said, No, because if you weed out the darnel, you might pull up the wheat with it. Darnel has two annoying qualities about it. The first is the similarity to wheat. From what I've read, it is indistinguishable and looks from wheat when the plant is young. So in other words, that's important because early on, as it's starting to grow, you can't tell wheat from darnel. So you have to leave it in the ground for a period of time because of the nature of the appearance of it. When it is grown sufficient to be able to distinguish it from the wheat, there emerges another problem. Now, go back to, say, an earlier parable, the parable of the sower, and you have that image of a person casting seed left, right, and center. Indiscriminate. We're not talking about planting a field in nice, neat, organized rows that we can then take our machine down and, harvest it. We can't do that with a combine in the ancient world. They didn't have them, but their planting was not patterned and organized. So that means when you go to pick out the darnel, when you can finally recognize it, well, the weeds are going to be intermixed with the wheat. It would make good sense to rip out the offending plants, but the problem is you would be in danger of pulling out the good plants. I think there is in this parable a couple of important truths for the church. It is far easier to deal with things if the people who are not true to the faith and the people are decidedly evil. The false Christian is not that easily discerned. They may look like the genuine article and sound like the genuine article, but in their heart of hearts, Christ does not reign. The second point I would make is that these people often establish them in the life of the church because people who are Christians do not see the inconsistency in the people's character or are blinded by friendship. The point is that to try and remove these people from the church is difficult because to do so is to impact the Christians in the church. The second problem with darnel is its toxicity. Darnel has always been where wheat has been sown, and only with modern farming techniques could the two be separated. You could not in the ancient world simply harvest the wheat without dealing with the darnel. Darnel, when eaten, would make one sick. It was a major problem when it came to processing the wheat. Those who are in the church and are not there spiritually are not just annoying, like those pesky dandelions that no matter how much you try, keep coming up in your front yard. If we were to push the image that Jesus provides, these people ultimately can make the church sick. And if the church is sick, it will fail in its mission. Now, notice here, once again, the kingdom of God and the church are not one and the same thing. In and through the work of the church, the kingdom of God is coming. In and through the church, the kingdom of God is going forth. It is the church that is impure. It is the church that has the real and the fake Christians. The kingdom of God is the genuine article. The kingdom of God is not the church, and the church is not the kingdom of God. It is a huge point that has to be emphasized, for not all that goes on in the church or all of its people are godly. Yes, We expect people who are Christians to be committed to the church. We need the support of fellow believers. But do not judge what the kingdom of God is or where the kingdom of God is at by the church. The church is not always for the kingdom of God. We need to keep that in mind.